We are still counting down to the December 7 elections. Now, currently, the filing of nominations have begun, and two-time independent presidential candidate, Mr. Jacob Osei-Yeboah, has filed his. The latest development, however, is that he's no longer going to be at the forefront. This time, he's stepping back to be the running mate. He's our guest today on Ghana Web's election desk. My name is Lord Harris Udasari. When I return, I'll introduce him. Welcome back. This is Ghana Web's election desk, and our guest, like I stated earlier, is the two-time independent presidential candidate, Jacob Osei-Yeboah. Mr. Osei-Yeboah, tell me, how come this time around you chose to step back and you're going as a running mate?
First and foremost, I think this is the appropriate time for me to share what I stand for. If you remember when Obama came to Ghana in 2009, in July, if you had the opportunity, just go and read the script or listen to the video. Now, he said that the 21st century will be shaped not by what happens in Rome, nor Moscow, nor Washington, but what will happen in Accra. That serves the foundation of what Jacob Osei-Yeboah stands for. What I stand for is about shaping the 21st century. And that one goes beyond me. And we need to set up an example of what the core message that Obama gave to Africa as also a son of the continent. In that speech, Obama said that each nation lends itself to a democracy based on its tradition. And what Obama, the key that Obama was giving to Africa was that it's about time that we carved out our own democracy as Africans. Because this kind of democracy that we are practicing is actually destroying all the moral value systems that we have. We are turning to be a society of indiscipline. We are lacking leadership because this multi-party system that we are practicing, we don't understand. And democracy itself, we do not understand. And so we need to translate democracy in the context of us as Africans based on our anthropological disposition.
Let me just pick your thoughts on this. I realized, so the president filed his nomination not too long ago. I realized that your demeanor was quite different, looking at everything that was happening. What was going on in your mind?
No, leadership must always be by example. As a nation and the whole world, we are fighting COVID-19, where we need to observe the protocols of COVID-19. Because of that, the EC told all of us that you need to come with only 5 people. And if you can see, I decided to come with 3 people. Okay. It's just a process of filing, but nothing else. And so when I saw this crowd, you have seen it. It was a bit shocker. I couldn't understand. And you could see that most of the followers were not in masks. Social distances were not observed. And that could actually trigger out COVID-19. And that is something that going forward we all need to observe. If you remember, when there was shutdown and there was sharing of food, that was what multiplied COVID-19 in Ghana. And so we need to take into consideration all of this. But no matter whatever thing that we're going to say, it has already happened. And so we got to be cautious going forward. And leadership must always be by example.
Let's talk about the filing fee. Before you came to submit your forms, you were one of those who were not in favor of the amount which was proposed by the EC. But I see you come to submit it. How did you generate the funds?
Yes, indeed, we are not happy with it again because we told them that we are in COVID-19 where businesses have run down and there are a lot of supporting services for businesses. And so we were expecting that in 2020 the Electoral Commission should have rather reduced it, okay? But they decided to maintain it, and you cannot blame the Electoral Commission. But then I was citing an example that if we do not take care as a nation, we may be losing the philosophy behind the filing fees. It's not about the amount that is paid. And I cited an example of the United States of America. The president pays $500 plus 5,000 nominators. Okay, and so United States dollars is a country. United States of America is a country where the economy is so strong. Trump could have even paid $1 billion if that is what it takes for some. But then the rationale behind it is that we want someone who will be able to serve our country. And so if the Electoral Commission is actually looking at what the political parties are doing, I mean, we're going to destroy this nation. You could see that it's almost easier for a drug baron to go through either MPP or an NDC to become their flag bearer, because everything is about money, okay, in these political parties. And that is not a good example enough for the Electoral Commission. Above all, Electoral Commission is also a public entity. They also came out with their reasoning, and we are hoping that we are not going to go down this trend, but rather we need to come back to the basis where money should not serve as a deterrent, but the other requirements that makes a political party a credible one in our country. Those political parties' law should rather be enforced.
But there's been an argument that, I mean, for someone who wants to be president, your fundraising skills should be top-notch. So it shouldn't be such that you are the only person providing all the money to file for the nomination. Otherwise, once you come to power, you'll be forced to go through corrupt means, especially if you didn't fund everything yourself and had to take aid from an individual per se.
Fundraising for your campaign is different from when you are going in for funds for the nation, because each has gotten its own different dynamics, okay, and how it works in terms of business and all of that, the justification of it. But to be honest with you, that $100,000 was way too much.
But you pay for it. I mean, how do you fund it?
Oh, you know, yes, just as we were saying, it's not myself alone. But apart from paying this amount, you also need money for your campaign and all of that. That is what is important. How the good message, the best message that we have, okay, how that message could reach the ordinary voter is the next step. And that is, to me, is more important than the filing fee. That is where we are looking at.
That is true. But if your admirers or the electorates get to know that this is your skill as far as getting this amount to file the fee is concerned, don't you think it will sort of get some sort of empathy or more admirers to your vote? That's what I'm asking, how you funded it.
You say we need to demonstrate to them that we are ready to serve.
Exactly.
And so we need to look for the money, and then we've been able to pay for it. Okay. So the next step is, then the most important thing is our message. We have said that all the manifestos that we read, if you compare that to even our 2016 manifesto, you could see the difference. We are talking about wealth creation. They're not talking about, if your manifesto is just to go and look for 10 billion, you want to add up the debt stock to a nation. What should be the difference? The difference should be as to how we want to create wealth from the natural and human resources that we have as a people. And that is what the Joy team and the Walker team, that is what we're going to come out with.
I see. Okay. COVID-19 has set in. Some of the parties are, basically all the parties have begun their campaigns one way or the other. What's your strategy?
Our strategy is, say, first and foremost, you say democracy, the tenets of democracy is respect for the fundamental human rights, and second, respect for the rule of law. Now we are in COVID-19. As leaders, we need to act by example, okay? And so we devise our political strategy in respect of COVID-19 and its ramifications on the lives of our people. And now, all what we're going to do is that we have a long-term plan and strategy, and immediately after EC had actually qualified people, that is when we're going to intensify our campaign.
What does it entail?
We say, on the other hand, we've advised a lot of the Christian community, the genuine Christian community. They are not going to fall for what we are observing, the noise making from the political parties. Once EC says that these are the people who have qualified as president, Christians and Muslims are going to pray. They are going to ask among those who have been qualified by the Electoral Commission, who has the favor of God been upon, and that is the person that they are going to nominate. They are not going to allow the political parties that to elect anyone and then they will just fall for the person and vote. No, now their eyes are open. They've heard what Joy has said in twice election, and they know they are ready to hear what Kwame Walker is also going to say about this thing being supported by Jacob Osei-Boah. That is the best ticket for the president. I mean, you can't compare Nanado and Bawumia to Walker and myself. You can't compare Mahama and Nana Jane to Walker and myself. And we're going to demonstrate to Ghanaians that we are providing the leadership that Ghanaians need.
But you still not operationalized or stated the mode of operation of your strategy, I mean of the campaign.
No, we're not going to share it.
Or you're waiting to be confirmed before you start talking to the people?
No, we've done and we continue to do. It's about 4 years now, the plan that we've done.
What new thing are you bringing on board as far as your message is concerned?
Let me see, if you analyze the manifestos of all of these political parties, I've told you, none of them is about wealth creation. Ours is about wealth creation because we've thought deeply about this, and our manifesto is really an answer to what the nation seeks. And I can assure you, we really want to establish a nation that functions. It's not about what we are observing. No.
For the benefit of those who will not still know about your manifesto, throw more light on it. What's the theme and what are some of the key areas you're looking at?
I have, if you read my book, The Next President of Ghana, this book has been read by so many people. Have you seen that the next president is a man? Yeah. I just decided to bring my picture here, but this is the reality. The question mark means that it's not about Jacob, but it could be any other person. Okay. You understand? And the overaching vision that we have is about shaping the 21st century. It's not about this kind of leadership that we are seeing around being exhibited by MPP and NDC. No.
How do you want to?
Let me cite an example, which the free SHS.
Yes.
If you go back, just go and do a research. When they came out with the free SHS, I said that it's an ambitious, okay, but it's selfless and righteous. These are the three words that I used for it. I said it was ambitious because I knew that it was a populist decision. They've not thought deeply about that. It's righteous because it's something that we need. We need to have the critical educated mass in our country. Okay? And it's selfless in the sense that despite the fact that these two political parties, MPP and NDC, are known to be taking and misusing the nation's fund, at least with this free education, people will be getting a little bit benefit out of that. Okay, and so it's selfless. But then it became an ambitious that because they did not think through it. I said that the double track system, and how they are implementing it is not good. When I was young, I'm now 52 years old. When I was young, we tend to have morning and afternoon sessions of our school. And so instead of having the green moving and then the children will come and stay in the house, they get stale, some are impregnated and all of that. We could have had the morning and afternoon.
So you wanted to reintroduce the shift system?
The shift system, yes, the double system is another form of shift system. But then what we were going to do was that those in the boarding houses, they will, go for the afternoon shift. They can start around 1 and end at 6 because they are in boarding school. And those who are there will come in the morning and close. And then we're going to analyze if the government spends, let's say, 1,000 on a student in a boarding house and it's free for the student, we will actually calculate how much we'll be spending on the day student. The difference between how much we spend on the day student and 1,000, we'll give it to the day student so that the day student will use it for their lorry fares. And then every child in Ghana who is at the age of going to school, we will make sure that their parents get that 1,000 cedis as a bursary amount to support. If that parent decides that I want to send my child to an expensive school, at least that parent knows that he or she is going to get a reduction, a rebate of 1,000. By so doing, we introduce equity in the system. We have those who are paying taxes, but because their children are not in government school, they are not enjoying them. And that is not how it should be. You create a system that should have the tendency of equity and fairness to everybody so that all of us could benefit. And that is how we're going to level this whilst we try to catch up on the infrastructural development and making sure that we will save a lot. Because when we do analysis of how much we pay on our building structures, on our roads, when we come, we will be able to save about 40% on them.
But how are you going to implement this in the private schools?
No, in the private school, that is why, you see, as part of us, we said that we need the national identification system. You know that I championed a lot about the understanding of this national identification system, because for every modernized country needs a functional national identification system. But actually in Ghana, we've actually implemented it wrongly. I've said it over and over that we've implemented it wrongly. We're going to make sure that we correct that. And at the end of the day, once you have a functional national identification system, it brings the visibility. With that, you get to know when the population that will be 6 years old and at a school going age, you will tend to know within a catchment area the schools that are there and how you'll be able to place these children to those schools. With that, you'll be able to know the social class of people. The social class, whether the person is an engineer, the status, you get my point. You get to know that. With scientifically, once you know the social class of people, you can even predict the amount of garbage that they generate. We go through the recycling of this garbage to produce electricity and things like that. And so there's a long trail of agenda that we have from this basis. And that is how we're going to generate jobs, and all the youth in this country are going to have something to do. We need to reorientate some of them, depending if you went to school and study Spanish. What can you do in Ghana? You have to reorient them in another field so that they'll become more productive to our country.
So it means that you are going to maintain the free SHS, but you're just going to upgrade it. Is that what it is?
Yes, we're going to improve it drastically. But what about the foundation? Because the Constitution, Article 25, starts with free, compulsory, universal basic education. What are we doing? Because that is the foundation. And that is an area that we're going to concentrate. It's not about the free SHS. We need to make sure that our kids get the solid foundation in education that they need. At that point in time, they should be able to decide. Honestly, when we come, we are not going to allow that policy of school feeding whereby you have one caterer over there. No.
How are you going to do it?
No, we're going to introduce it in such a way that every school, they are going to have about 3 caterers. And then we teach the children right at that stage to choose in between. So if you're a caterer and then you don't have good food, the children will not come and patronize. And then we teach them. They should begin to make choices at that age.
Let me get this clear. You are abolishing the school feeding system?
No, I'm not abolishing it. Okay. At this point in time, it has become a cronyism for only a few people. Okay. When we come, we are not going to sack the caterers over there. And the food that they give to these kids are not that palatable. And so what we are going to do, we are going to come out with a policy such that in every school, there will be at least 2 or 3 caterers. They will bring their food in the school, and then the children will have chits. And so if the children love your food, they will come and give you their chit, and they will give them your food. And so if you are not giving them good food, they will not patronize. We teach the children as to how.
I'd like to take a quick break here. We are speaking to independent presidential candidate, now running mate to Mr. Alfred Kwame Walker, in the person of Jacob Osei Yeboah. We take a quick break here. We'll return soon. Welcome back. We are still watching Ghana Web's Election Desk, and our guest for today is Jacob Osei Yeboah. So Osei Yeboah, what are your plans for employment? Is one of the major things that the country is debating.
I have told you, the team is actually coming out with our employment strategy, which is going to cut across. And I have said that the basis that we have as a team is that it's all about wealth creation, and it's about the economy. We're going to explain the fundamentals of the economy. I have challenged the thought patterns of our so-called economic experts, including Dr. Baumia, that when we talk about the economy, it's about the transformation of our natural and human resources for the consumption of the world. Until we've done that, it's all about wealth redistribution and wealth destruction. And so we are coming out with economic systems that will be the basis for job creation for every youth in this country.
I'm sure everything would have been put in better perspective if the manifesto was out, no?
Oh, definitely. We're going to, you see, just as I told you, we're going to adorn the flag bearer, who is Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker, and myself as the formidable team. And then once we launch that, then we're also going to launch our manifesto. Okay. And then our manifesto was spelled. We're not going to come out with a lot of manifesto that is going to confuse a lot of people. We will give the abridged version, and the detailed we'll keep to ourselves, and we're going to implement it.
You are one person who believes in the merging of minor political parties to upset the status quo, to break the political duopoly. You were at the acclamation of Dr. Hassan Ayariga during the party's congress, and you commended him for everything that's happening. We're of the thought that we'll see something in that regard. What happened?
No, we say, just as I've said, you say we are practicing multi-party democracy. And it's not about always just trying to be negative with the political parties, other than that it goes against the constitution. Okay. We ought to encourage them to be doing the right thing. Mind you, MPP and NDC, if they were to be doing the right thing for our nation, I don't think that a lot of us and most people will be wanting to stand as president. But because that leadership is lacking, and they cannot use their party internal system to give the nation, the credible candidates with a vision, with deep thinker and a visionary. That is why as a nation we've been suffering. And so we are not against political parties, but we ought to do the right thing. MPP and NDC, they keep on failing us, okay, in this leadership regard. And then if we don't take care, you see, the actual thing is that it's about our security. It's about security. You know, what you are saying is actually reminding me some of the dreams that I had, which was very, very serious. And it just prompted me to share this dream, which is very important. And that was part of the reason why I took this decision to run as a running mate, okay? You see, leadership is not about fighting. It's about respecting the other's quality and how you can work together as a team than yourself alone. Seeing yourself as part of a systemic solution to the problems that we have. You see, I had a dream, and in that dream, there were chaos in this country. When it was about 33 days to election, I saw young junior officers in the army and police shooting their bosses in open, not like hiding themselves, because they felt that their bosses were giving them instructions that is against the core and principle of what they stand for as security men. And there were a lot of chaos because of MPP and NDC. Saw ambulances that were stopped and roll over because these ambulances and the drivers were being trained specifically to bring chaos in our country. And there were a lot of chaos around. And so I was asking why all these things. And it was something that in the dream said that this is what is about to happen in our country. If you look at what the MPP and NDC, what they are doing, we are all not safe in this country. It's all because we don't have leadership. And it is something that we need to work towards that. Okay. And don't be surprised. And I saw one of these presidential aspirants, knowing that all these series of issues happening, decided to say that they want to support Walker Joy's ticket. And that actually brought the nation and helped all of us to be safer to see the 2021. And so it's not all that safe for all of us.
What did you do after you woke up?
When I woke up, it gave me a lot of this, and I'm not someone who normally dreams. And when I dream of this nature, I take it serious because I pray a lot about it. And all the things, if you look at all the things serious. In fact, in the dream it was scary.
You didn't talk to any pastor or your spiritual dad to interface?
Oh no, I did, and they know me, and they know that these are serious matters. That it's not an issue about praying; it's about issue of taking practical steps, okay, in ensuring that, and it's all about leadership fight. I don't see the reason why people should fight and kill themselves for Mahama and Nanado. You understand? But after all, everybody was expecting that I should go for the third time. Here am I, that I've stepped out for even a new face, and not only pushing myself aside, I said I still want to support him.
How long have you known him?
Walker, you see, in the 2016 election, that was when I got to know him. I followed him, I was studying him, and I realized that he's a good material for this nation. He's equally good like myself. And I know that the nation is going to love him. You could see that he is indeed the true leader that the nation is fighting for. You could see that in his spirit and his demeanor and whatever thing that he does. And that is what made me fall in love. I mean, if I've seen the qualities that I'm seeing in him, in Nanado or Mahama, I can assure you I would have gone and support them. That is me. Because Ghana is not about me, but it's about our nation.
I see. A quick one before we go. So in the events that after the elections, Ghanaians do not choose the Osei-Abua and Walker tickets, which party are you more likely to throw your weight behind?
No, that one we don't actually think about it. Just as, you see, in the dream, I said that I saw Mahama. Knowing all what was in Bahama was saying, Joy, you know, I wouldn't have stood for this election and allowed all this chaos to come in. But I needed to fight for justice. And I also asked him, so what does he mean by he wanted to, this time around, he's fighting justice. What kind of injustice is he suffering that he wants to fight justice? And it was, he said it, but I'm not going to release what he told me. I think I need to find time and ask him that if indeed what most people do not know, the rationale for him standing as president, is that reason. It's not that he just wants to become president. They will know.
The voter secessionist issue, what's your thoughts on it? How would you have handled it differently?
No, they've been talking to us. In fact, before this incident happened, they had wanted to meet with us. And they were looking for a leader that they can speak to. And they felt that Jacob Osei-Abua's team. Yes. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. And what is happening over there is indeed true, that it is not they themselves. We now have foreign elements. And that is the danger of the security system that we have in our country. And so we need to act on it and act professionally. I'm telling you, it's not about big talks. It's about understanding the dynamics, or what they need. You know, that is how these people infiltrate nation and they cause havoc in our nation.
The people who came to see you were not Ghanaians.
They are Ghanaians. I mean, we have the indigenous. They will not handle this issue this manner. But there are other foreign elements that have come in the country.
What did they say when they came to see you?
No, they wanted us to have audience with them and listen to them. But that it didn't come on before these issues happened. And so I'm glad that I think their leader has actually come out to deny this. Okay, so I think let's.
So we've been speaking to the independent presidential candidate, Mr. Jacob Osei-Abua. He's now going to be a running mate. But this has been Ghana Web's Election Desk. My name is Lord Harris Udasari.